What's up, all you movie lover badasses? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood. Today on the show, we are going to review Harbinger Down. Here's a quick plot synopsis. A group of people aboard the fishing trawler Harbinger come across alien bacteria which begins to infect them one by one. Alright. Damn it.
We're switching up the format a little today with this is going to be kind of a discussion. We heard about this project through a couple of different sources via the internets, on the interweb, on the World Wide Web. And I was very interested in when I first heard about this, primarily because it was a love project from this particular effects company called ADI. Now ADI, they've been around for a really long time. At least the people that are involved in the company have been around for a really long time. They're masters of their craft. They are fantastic effects people in the business.
Practical effects.
Practical effects. And essentially they were hired to work on the 2011 remake slash prequel slash reboot slash whatever the hell you want to call it, The Thing. And from what we can tell, the movie was apparently going with a practical effect approach. Now, probably most likely they were going to go with a CGI practical effects blend. So the company was hired to do these practical effects, and at the last minute, they kind of got the shaft. There's all this test footage out there of these pretty damn decent practical effects.
It's kind of sad.
And it seems like the studio just lost their nerve, and the next thing you know, we have generic full CG creatures that aren't very impressive looking. They just are what they are, generic CG. And the company was like, dude, this sucks. Who wouldn't be pissed off if somebody did that to all of your hard work? So they put this test footage out there, and the reaction was overwhelming, and they realized, you know, people still like this stuff. We are by no means the kind of people that are strictly, no practical effects and that's it, no CG. No, I believe a perfect blend of CG, practical, in-camera, post-op, I mean, just everything you can think of. It's a blending of everything combined. You can't just have one or the other. You can't be fully reliant on practical only because there are going to be glitches in practical effects, be it a robot, a puppet, whatever. But you can't fully rely on CG. It looks artificial. It never looks that great to the eyes, for my taste.
And I agree. You know, the best is a great blend of both. But in our opinion, a really good practical effect will always look better than a piece of shit CGI. It has to be really good, though. Really good practical effect will trump CGI, crappy CGI any day.
Bad CGI. So this company decided they wanted to make a movie using primarily practical effects for their feature. And so they decided to go through Kickstarter, and it's looking like about $380,000 was raised for this. So we're talking about a shoestring budget, not even $400,000, and we don't even know how much they fronted from their own pocket to make all of this. So hearing about all of this, I was on board. I'm thinking, hey, creature feature, you know, good old-fashioned B-movie practical special effects, a horror movie to boot. So hey, maybe we'll get some good kills. We'll get a creepy-looking guy and thing running around. Who knows what we're gonna get? And hearing Lance Henriksen was attached to it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this movie a shot. And I am so devastated to tell you I'm disappointed. And you might be wondering, how can you possibly be disappointed with such a small budget? And I agree with you there. What could I possibly be expecting? A creature! A creature!
Yeah.
Basically what we boiled down to is we have the Thing on a ship.
Right.
Should be simple. But instead what we got was a very poorly written story, very bad characters, very bad dialogue, trying to flesh out characters by the end that we didn't care about.
That didn't go anywhere.
And the creatures that we got were barely visible. There were essentially no kills. Anything you had was either off screen or it was very poorly lit.
Yeah.
there were a couple of shots of the creature where I was like, oh, okay, that's creepy. There was one shot in particular that was very effective, and I was like, oh, okay, great. To the movie's credit, some things that they did succeed in was creating an atmosphere of isolation, perhaps akin to the Alien film, the first Alien movie.
Claustrophobic.
The Thing, similar. Again, claustrophobic out in the middle of nowhere. In fact, this is set in the Arctic Ocean. They're a fishing trawler that fish in the ice. They're surrounded with ice the entire film, and that's where they find the bacteria. And aside from the atmosphere, the miniature of the Harbinger, which is the ship that they're on, was very well done. You wouldn't really be able to tell it was a miniature if you didn't know any better, if you didn't know that this was a practical effects driven film. So they did get certain things right, but overall, if you don't have an effective creature to display, then what are you left with? Well, a story. Well, if you're left with a poorly written, poorly thought out story, what are you left with? Characters. If you don't have compelling or at least decent or at least non-irritating characters, what are you left with? Not a lot. And so I don't want to be overly critical of this film, believe me. I completely applaud the effort that went into this.
There was a love put into this compared to your usual low-budget, straight-to-video monster flicks that are a piece of shit, like all those Asylum movies. Horrible, bad CG, they don't care.
Clearly.
They just want to copy what's popular. Transformers is out, they'll make Transmorphers.
And they just want a paycheck. There's no effort, there's no time, there's no love or attention put into it.
But this film, you could tell there was an attempt made. But here's the problem. Okay, as soon as we started watching it, we were like, alright, whoa, alright. Low budget, here we go. So we really just grab your camcorder, your iPad, and run around, film a movie, low budget, okay?
Which we understood
that's
completely.
Fine.
So
that's fine. Not really the greatest characters, fine. Not a lot of backstory, fine. They set up relationships between characters that didn't go anywhere, whatever. So as she was saying, what are you left with? The creature. Now, to the movie's credit, when you do see the practical effects, they're great. But see, that's the key word, see. And that's where this movie drops the ball, is because a lot of the time, the monster is in a dark corner, they got one flashlight on it.
Which you can understand why they had to do that, because it was low budget and they probably had a lot of stuff that they had to hide.
Yeah, but it's just, but if that's what you're solely basing your movie off of, like, look, practical effects are still the shit, it's a dying art form, here's our movie to prove you all wrong, that not to rely on CGI all the time. Well, you kind of need to show us the fucking monster, man. You know, come on. And then there was another moment where you could totally see the monster, and we saw it, and we were like, okay, well, that doesn't look that bad. And then there was all this shaky cam shit, man. And so you got darkness mixed with shaky cam. You can't see the monster, and that's where I was just like, I started to get angry. I got mad by the end of this movie. I was like, come on, guys. And you couldn't even give us some cool kick-ass kills? When did the Thing remake come out with Kurt Russell? Classic, one of the best practical effect horror movies of all time. Came out in 1982, I believe. Look at the kills in that movie. It's creative, it's gory.
Granted, it was a much higher budget.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, this is sad. The kills in this movie were so poorly done. This literally could have been a PG-13 film. Come on, guys.
So, again...
I'm frustrated now. I'm mad now, damn it.
Again, the potential for what they were trying to do was so prominent. And I really wish, instead of trying to give us a half attempt at a story, a full-length story, because this was probably about an hour. If it was not an hour and 45, it felt like an hour and 45. It felt longer than it needed to be, only because the characters were horrendous. Lance was really the only reason to watch, but
He was wasted.
Lance Henriksen cannot carry a film by himself, especially if it's not about him. It was not necessarily about him. It was more focusing on his granddaughter, focusing on the ensemble cast. And there were quite a few people in this film. It was probably about, what, a cast of maybe 10 on the onset?
Yeah.
It's probably about 10. So he couldn't carry this on his own. And so what you're left with is just a cast full of unlikable people. And instead of giving us that, I feel the missed opportunity here could have been, instead of this hour and a half, hour and 45-minute ensemble piece for really annoying as hell people, we could have had a really smaller cluster of people, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5, in this same concept of an isolated ship. The Harbinger part was fine. Being on the ship in the Arctic, that was perfectly fine. But this should have been a short film. I feel if they had concentrated everything they had into this smaller scale project instead of trying to make a feature-length film, we could have probably had something a little bit better.
This could have been a highlight reel. They could have sent that short to all these other movie studios. Like, look what we can do. Remember this shit? Remember how awesome practical effects are? You remember? We can do this for you, but this failed. Whoever watches this movie, they're not going to give it. They're going to have 2 shits about practical effects. They failed. ADI failed, and it's sad, and that's why I'm mad. I mean, even though when you can actually see the practical effects, they were really good, there were moments where the practical effects looked like crap. And it threw us off. We were like,
a little Feed Me Seymour-ish.
Yeah, there's like one scene where it's just like this.
We laughed a little.
We're not supposed to laugh. You know? It's like, if we didn't know the history behind making this film, we probably would have seen that scene and we're just going,
it would have been easy to dismiss this film as another Asylum film if we didn't know the history.
With some decent effects when they were seen. But we weren't supposed to laugh. This was supposed to be a serious horror movie. And there's like a big mouth with teeth going, I mean, it looks so cheap looking. We were laughing. We were just kind of like, come on, man.
And that's where I feel this really would have benefited from a more concentrated cast and a more concentrated, streamlined 30 to 45 minute short. I refuse to be critical of the effort that these people put into this.
Right.
You don't see effort like this anymore, and I am totally on their side. They have a really interesting interview out there on a YouTube channel for the people with ADI, Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff, about how they're not for campaigning against CG outright and just, oh no, just bring back practical effects. They are more of the mindset that it's 2 separate art forms. Yeah. I completely agree with that. But their art form is being significantly stifled because everyone is only reliant on CG, or only confident in CG. When, as we said before, the blending of the two is when everything works best. Look at all the effects that went into the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You had map paintings, you had miniatures, you had motion capture, you had forced perspective, you had every trick of the trade, including CG, and look at how beautifully it still holds up to this day. That's the best of all worlds, and that's what we want to see in films. The prequels of the Star Wars trilogy, that is the best example of how you rely on CG and your movies just don't look like movies anymore. And again, I refuse to be critical of their efforts. So from their effort standpoint, I give them all the respect and props in the world.
Even though they still failed.
I feel that this should have been just a smaller scale, even though it's already very small scale. So unfortunately, judging from just simply a movie standpoint and what we wanted and how disappointing it was that we didn't get to see what we really wanted, it just overall.
We unfortunately give Harbinger down 2.7 out of 5 chainsaws. And we're for the little guy.
Absolutely.
We're always root for the little guy.
We just gave Turbo Kid a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Turbo Kid! Turbo Kid had better death scenes than this horror monster movie. And this is why I'm angry again. Sorry. It's because on a B-movie standpoint, on a B-movie monster movie level, I was still disappointed. That's why I'm angry. It's like you couldn't even give me B-movie level monster movie fun and excitement. You couldn't even give me that enjoyment. So enough. I'm done. I'm done talking about this freaking movie, man. I'm done. So, have you seen this film? Let us know what you thought about it. If you think that we're too hard on it and we should forgive it, let us know in the comments below.
Filmmakers, I love you. Really, I truly applaud your efforts.
Come on,
truly
ABI.
Please don't misunderstand me.
Don't give up.
I appreciate
you can
what
do
you
it.
did.
You can do
really
it.
And I appreciate where you're coming from. I believe me.
So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And we'll see you next week when we review What We Do in the Shadows. We'll see you next time.
I'm sorry, ADI.